everyone, Big Byron here.
And I'm Brandon.
Welcome to Real Logic. And today's topic is going to be about whoops, I got the wrong color. And I still have the wrong color for some. Trying large phones. Pretty much for the first time. Phones. And it's awkward writing sideways. First time. First time.
First time.
Trying large phones, first time. All right. So, that's the topic on hand, and I guess I'll start off. I remember when did I start? I don't remember what year it was. It was I don't know why I was not writing correct colors now. All right.
Gosh.
The Some time ago, I remember typical phone sizes were along the lines of 4.3 inches was actually decently large. So 4 inches actually was about a normal typical phone size. Uh, yeah. And was that iPhones at the time were only like 3.5. And I remember, again, I explained this in my ideal cell phone video that the ideal cell phone at the time back in the day was 4 inches, and then they had these phones at 4.3 inches were like gigantic. Again, back in the day, and I remember was it the Samsung Note? The original Note first came out. I forget what size that was. Somewhere along the lines of 5 inches. It might have been 4.7. Matter of fact, let me look that up. Galaxy Note. What screen size was the Note? I think it was around 4.7 to 5. Anyway, I was just looking around and I remember looking and holding it in my hands like, my God, this thing is huge. How could anyone ever use this? And I didn't buy one for quite some time. I think my first big phone was a Samsung Galaxy, I think. That was 5 inches. No, 4.7. It wasn't massive as the Notes yet at that time. Again, this is when Galaxies first came out, and now screen sizes have been getting greater than 4 inches.
What year
Eh,
was that?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember myself, but I think this was in the early 2000s. Not sure. Oh God, really? Apparently,
2011,
uh,
maybe?
huh? The
Because that
original
came out
Note,
in
the
2011.
original Note, yeah, 2011. Apparently, wow, that seemed like a lot longer ago than, than that, doesn't it? I think
The
this is when the
phablet.
yeah, 5.3 inches for the Note, the original Note. Now it's huge. I remember holding it in my hand in a demo, and it's like, man, I don't know if I could get used to that. It's a little bit too big. 4.5 was about the I think the average, maybe 4.3 actually. And then my
Well,
very
the Note
first, huh?
is actually 5.7 now.
Yeah. Currently it is 5.7. But my very first large phone was the HTC One Max, and this is a 5.9-inch phone, almost 6 inches. As a matter of fact, I lent it out to you just so you can try it out, so we can write about this video. I tried 5.9 inches for the first time.
Because that's not awkward at all.
No, not at all. And but yeah, it was huge, and I don't know. I wanted a big screen, mostly front-facing speakers on it, just because of when you watch videos, a tiny screen's not going to cut it. And then having the speakers in the back is going to make it even worse because you have to do that little cup hold thing in the very back just to angle to have that sound come back forward for you so you can hear. I remember traveling and with the sound of the car and the exterior wind noise, and then the tiny screen with the cupping the back so you can hear the freaking your phone. I didn't have headphones at the time, so I just had to do it, you know, speaker wise. Yeah, it didn't do so well, but I ended up actually kind of liking the phone. It is a little bit big though.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little. 5.9 inches is just a little bit too big. But I love the front-facing speakers and I love the screen. It was really great.
I can agree with the speakers. I did like that.
And then, so the next big phone I had was besides, the 5-inch, 4.7, the 5.1 inch with the Samsung phones. The next phone I got instead of the 5.9-inch one was the Note 4, which I think was actually quite perfect. I love the S Pen aspect. The screen size was a little bit more manageable than the 5.9 inches because I think this was 5.7, but I think the overall dimensions of the phone was a little bit smaller than the One Max, which was crazy big. It's pretty much a phablet. And I gotta say, I've gotten used to the large screen phones. Now I don't think I'll accept anything under 5.5. Just I do watch some stuff, and I just normal web browsing, text typing, and all that. It's just so much better on a larger screen phone. It is harder to text with one hand, but with the swipe ability on Android, it's easier, especially with the Note 7. When the Note 7 came out, it had a 5.7-inch screen, but it felt so small in the hand. It was so easy to text with one-handed with the swipe. It was just they really compact the Note 7 a lot. It's actually it's almost hard to believe that it was in fact 5.7-inch screen on that phone. It really was. It was so small. And I think the curve of it, the curve of the display also helped with handling of the phone versus, the Note 4, which was pretty much square, oh, which was blockish. But I can't hate on that. I think that's about it. I mean, ever since trying out larger phones, very beginning, you're gonna hate it. You're gonna like, how is this practical? But then after a while, for me, I converted over. It's like I love it. I can't get anything smaller now no more. It's just impractical to get anything too much smaller now. I think for me. Now, what about you, Brandon?
Well,
I lent you the HTC One Max 5.9 inches. How did 5.9 inches feel for you?
well, in the hand, it felt quite awkward. No, but it's just it felt so cumbersome. It's like you said, like I like to text with one hand, so my other hand's free for other activities. Cough, cough. But and it's like you have to have both hands to do a text, and I did not like that. It just it just felt weird. And then fitting in the pocket, right? It really didn't fit in my pocket.
Did it fit
Um,
in your pants?
it really didn't. No, no, it didn't. But and so I'm like, I hate to see people with skinny jeans try to carry that in their pocket because it's just,
Oh God! I mean,
oh
anyone
God.
wearing skinny jeans with any kind of phone is still going to be a pain. I know there's a lot of people out there who gets like, I don't know. I don't understand why they wear skinny jeans and then put phones in their back pocket and then sit with the phones in their back pocket
I don't
still.
understand why it's in their back pocket, period. Like, that's
That
the
is
easiest
true.
way to be stolen. You won't even know. Like, I see it all the time, man. But no, because my current phone is the Xperia Z1 Compact. It's time for an upgrade, of course. And it's just that, the compact phones just tend to work better for me. And right now, Sony tends to be the only one that kind of makes decent phones in that area, but that's a different topic. But
Well, they're the
it's
only ones
just
who, yeah, they're the only ones really that are doing it nowadays. A lot. I know
no.
Samsung had the minis out for quite some time, and they stopped producing the minis, I think, or at least not in the United States.
Right, so you can see like I'm in quite the predicament. But, it's just I don't know, it just seems like it's easier on me with a smaller phone. Like the big phones, it's just they don't fit in the pocket. You have to have two hands in order to use it.
You know what
It's
we could do?
cumbersome.
Here, we'll do the pros and cons. So, what's your pros for the big screen?
Well, I'm not really too keen on the big screen. Like I can appreciate it, right?
What would it
Um,
be the pros for you, though?
because you can definitely watch videos with ease, and I can say the quality was a little better on that screen because it was bigger. But I usually just use like my computer or TV,
Well, when you're out in public, though.
Well, when I'm out in public, I really don't watch too many YouTube videos.
I guess you've never been in a part where you drive somewhere and then your friend ends up going shopping, or your significant other goes shopping and you don't want to go in there and there's nothing else you want to go watch, so you just sit in the chair and do
Well, I
nothing.
do more reading than actual watching of TV or anything, so I mean,
Well, then a bigger screen will
that
still
doesn't
help with
really,
that.
I mean, that doesn't really bother me though, so I don't know.
Would a
I do
bigger
more reading.
screen help with a bigger screen?
Would it help?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't really feel hindered with my current phone when I'm reading, so
but would a
I'm
bigger
sure.
screen help? Would that
Would
be
it
a more
help?
benefit? Yes.
Would it be a benefit? I guess it could be.
For me, it's so far the pros for a bigger screen. It's watch videos, read books would not be necessarily a pro for me. I do read, and but it's not like fiction books or anything. It's more like learning books. How to read a book.
How?
I,
Oh, wow, you're messed up if
I'm
you're.
I'm reading a book on how to read a book.
Yeah.
You're doing a shitty job right now. um, Mine would be a web page viewing, because I do a lot of web searching and I hate having to constantly scroll. What else is there? True multitasking, because I sometimes can't write eyes for some odd reason again,
I'm seeing
and it's very slanted.
your
Um,
slanted eyes.
hey, that's racist. um, what else? Yeah, because I like some with a bigger screen, I tend to multitask. Some occasionally multitask where I have an app and taking up the top half of the screen, then I have another app taking the bottom half of the screen, and I
Well,
do
that's not
do.
necessarily only particular to big phones, is
You know,
it? I thought that
you
was a
can
particular
do it
company.
smaller phones, but it's makes it difficult to see. Whereas a bigger screen phone, it'll be a lot easier to see. You don't have to zoom in as close and then keep filtering through. But but what I typically do is I look at my credit card statement up top, and then I have a note document on the bottom, so I can start note taking my stuff, and then I swap the top with a different another of my like my banking, and then I write down on my notes as well. It's a lot easier to have multiple screens on your phone if your screen's big enough to support it. Kind of like if you have a say a 10-inch monitor versus a 21-inch monitor, where you're doing multitasking. Well, you can multitask on both monitors, but it's just a lot easier to see things when you have a 21-inch monitor because it's so much wider, and you can split the web page into two and not strain to try to read words.
Well,
So
I've never really had to use the multitasking function. I mean, I do use the apps, which I don't know what they call it on Android, but you hit the square and you can go between different apps quickly.
task manager.
There we go, that thing.
Oh, and yeah, and I think 7.0, you actually double tap it, and it'll go back to your last recent app, and then you tap it again, it goes back to whatever you were at. So you can swap between two apps instantly by just double tapping that square button, the multitasking button. But I tend to sometimes what I do is I listen to like music on Google or whatever. I don't not music that I purchased now, like music that you can sample. So you have to have that app up and running in order for it to be playing. Because if you get out of the app, then it'll stop playing. So I tend to, with Samsung anyway, I tend to minimize the Google app to like a little square circle, so it'll still play in the background while I can still do the true multitasking, where I have an app in the top half and an app in the bottom half, while the other app is a little square circle playing in the background. I can move it around wherever I want. It's really cool. You require something that you never experienced.
A square circle.
A square circle.
I,
Oops.
I,
God, okay.
I don't
Any-
know anymore.
okay, let me draw it out for you then here. So basically, here's your phone. It's like it's not quite straight, as you can see. So you'll have an app here, then you have an app here, Then you also with Samsung you can make apps into a little tiny circle that they're pretending to be like they're actually full screen or whatever, so they don't close out. They're still there playing. And I don't know if you ever like listen to sample albums on YouTube, or sorry, not YouTube, on on Google Play, where if you don't own the album, you can play the samples for them. But if you ever leave the Google Play music app, it'll stop. Even with actually with YouTube, if you ever leave YouTube, then it'll stop playing your video. But if you turn it into this small tiny app like you can in Samsung, it'll still play even if you're doing two other things.
We'll see a couple of nitpicks. That's not a square circle. It's an odd circle, but it's not a square circle.
Well,
But
well, this is not a square
Spotify,
either.
you can listen to an album on Spotify and have it running in the background without an issue. So I
But
mean, it's
that's only
just
if you have a subscription
no.
and
You can still listen to a full album on Spotify
an
without
album
the
that you
subscription.
select that you want to listen to
Yeah, it won't
on
be in
mobile.
the songs won't be in the exact order the album's supposed to be in. It'll be shuffled, but yeah, you can listen to the whole album of a particular artist that you select. You can listen to the whole album. It's just the songs will be shuffled.
Hmm.
I
I,
promise you,
I,
I've
I've heard
got
in like
Spotify.
the Spotify app on the desktop, you can select whatever song you want,
You
but
can.
in the mobile version, you can select the artist, but you can't select the song. So it's just shuffling through all their albums.
Mm-mm. Nope, you can select the album.
Huh. All right. So what would be the cons for a large phone?
Well, of course, you can't text with one hand,
Size matters.
and I was gonna say, why do you have a U in there? And you can't put it in your pocket. It's kind of
won't
awkward.
won't fit in pants. What else?
But I will say the phone you loaned me, the One Max,
Mhm.
I will say I do like the fingerprint reader.
So that's
I
not
do like that.
necessarily a exclusive to large phones.
No, but that's my first time ever having
You know
or
what?
using
For our
a
ideal cell
fingerprint.
phone, I don't think we ever listed that as a thing. I don't think.
I thought you did. Did you
Did
not? No.
I? Fingerprint reader?
I mean, I couldn't list it because I've never used one before then. So
Yeah. Now you don't. With the new fingerprint reader, you don't have to swipe your finger. You just place it on there and it works. So it's even more. It's more better.
it's
It's
more
more
convenient,
better.
maybe.
It's more better.
This grammar, no.
All right. So so the fact that the size is a little bit too big and it won't necessarily fit in your pants, depending, especially if you have skinny jeans. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
gonna. I mean,
I,
most
I
phones won't fit in that.
I don't know how people do it with skinny jeans. I mean, I don't understand. I don't.
I figured you'd understand out of the both of us. What else is a con for having a large phone like that?
I think that's just you. Tee. But
What?
let's see.
So it being a little bit too big, too cumbersome to type with one hand. To type with one hand. Shortcutting it because I'm going to run out of room. Because you gotta. Never mind.
Well, if you had a bigger screen slash phone slash
What else? So it won't fit in your pants. Size matters when typing one-handed, which is absolutely true. But with swiping, it certainly does help. And the way the Galaxy Note 7, how it's curved screen and more compact, makes
well,
it feel like
making
you
phone
can.
calls, right? Like that's really awkward because you
No,
have
it's
this
not.
giant phablet on your face, right? Like if you don't have like a Bluetooth headset or like your earphone headset, you're just talking on the headset. It's kind of awkward. Like you got this giant brick on your face, and it's so awkward.
So the size of your face, right?
I guess we could put that down there.
Any other cons? And the fact that you can't use it one-handed, it won't fit in your pants or your pockets. Size it's like taking up your entire face basically when you have it up there. You know what? I do want to see someone using a tablet and using it as a phone, like a 10-inch tablet, and you see them using two hands to hold it up there.
I think there are. I think there are tablets that you can make phone calls on.
Oh yeah, there is. There are tablets out there with 4G data, so you can do it. Of course, it's like you can Skype and stuff into it. Some guy walking out there with a freaking tablet on their face. I'm
Can you hear me
uh,
now?
I'm FaceTiming right now. Literally. Any other cons you can think of?
That's about it at the moment.
I think so too. I can't think of anything else. I mean, it's gonna be heavier, but it's a couple of grams. That's not a big deal. Huh. Cons. Can't type with one hand. Won't fit in your pants, and pretty much the size of your face when you start talking to it. To me, those are not. Size of your face doesn't matter. I don't, like if you don't want to see anyone, just put your phone to your face, and you won't be able to see them anymore.
No, but then they still see you with a giant
That's
block on
that's
your
that's
face.
perfect. You know what? They can see the block on my face as long as they're not seeing my face. I think that's a pro right there. All right, so I guess this is it for the pros and cons. I mean, being able to watch videos in it, bigger screens definitely helps. Reading, of course, web reviewing, and multitasking. Something I can think of. I guess another con would actually be a battery drain
Well,
because a bigger screen requires more power, especially if it's a QHD over HD,
I
FHD.
guess that would depend on how you use your phone too, though. I guess I don't know,
Well,
because
yeah,
you
I
get
mean,
more battery power by virtue of a bigger battery, but
oh, you mean because the size of the phone's bigger, therefore they have more room to put in a bigger battery. But
usually,
but then I guess it'll equate to about having equal battery life. Even though you have a bigger phone, bigger screen, your battery life would be about equal, considering that it's the battery size and the screen size kind of proportionally increase
I
potentially
mean, I guess it depends on how you use it and the efficiency of,
the screen itself.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I would think that if you have a bigger battery, you have a
bigger
little longer
phone.
battery life. Yeah.
No, not
I mean, that's
necessarily.
not necessarily true,
Yeah,
but I can say with that phone, the standby time, because I've tried it. Like I got 3 days straight off that phone, like on standby time.
was it on airplane mode?
No.
Huh.
So I mean, it wasn't like a complete 3 days, but it might as well have been 3 work days.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, well, it's also the what apps they have and the skin overlay on it. HTC tends to be very light-skinned in terms of their skins over the Android, of course, where Samsungs tend to be a little bit heavy and does tend to drain the battery quite a bit more. Motorola's been doing a very good job on that in terms of very light necessary skins, basically like shortcuts to turn on your flashlight and all that. At least that's what I've heard. I wouldn't mind trying a Motorola phone out sometime. All right. So this is pretty much, I guess, our discussion on trying large phones for the first time. And I agree with the HTC One Max is a bit extreme. 5.9 inches, being big and bulky. It was a bit. It fit in my pants, but it's just that sitting down and stuff, like it was difficult for sure. Because I'm like, I have to like make sure I don't bend the phone. It's not,
Well, I
and
mean, yeah, that's a concern, right?
it's not in my back pocket. It's in my front. Thank you.
I mean, I couldn't keep it in the pants, but
You couldn't keep it in your pants. Boy, this sounds also like we're talking about something else completely different other than phones. It's very weird.
does it?
All
Well,
right.
that's quite awkward.
So I think the question for this one is going to be, what has been your experience with trying large phones, especially for the very first time? What was your very first large phone? To me, it was like the HTC One Max was the very first large phone I've tried. I loved it, and had very few minor gripes with it. Again, concern when I stick my large phone in my pants is sitting down. I was afraid I might bend it or something. And but yeah, other than that, I think I really enjoyed it. So, what was your
Well,
very first large phone that you tried for the very first time?
And I
And
guess I'd like to add on, do you prefer a bigger phone or a smaller phone? And how do you feel about the trend in phone sizes just increasing?
that is true. Well, for me, I love big phones, and I don't know if the trend is going to keep just getting bigger and bigger. Because I remember, again, back in the day, 4 inches was pretty big, and now it's almost to 6 inches. We're getting into tablet territory when we go into 7 inches. There's actually we will get larger and larger screens. Actually, there's a phone out there right now with it's a 6.4-inch screen, but it's the size. I think it's about the size of the iPhone 7 Plus, which has a 5.5-inch screen. It's because the screen size itself has increased, but the phone dimensions did not, meaning the bezels are getting smaller to the point where it's pretty much just all screen on the phone. And I think that's what a lot of phones are coming out nowadays, or not nowadays, sorry, in 2017. They're going to start releasing like 90% screen to body ratio. I heard the Galaxy S8 is going to be that. I heard the iPhone 8 is going to be that. What was that? I've heard those two
Random
phones
pop
are
up.
going to. I heard those two. I heard those two phones are going to be like that. I don't know what else. The Mi Mix is the first one. Well, actually, Sharp was the first one with almost all screen. Then the Mi Mix, I think, the Mi Mix, I can't remember what the phone was now. And then the S8 and the iPhone 8. But yeah, so tell us your thoughts on large phones. What was your very first phone? That's whatever size it was, down in the comments below, and also about the trending on phones becoming larger and larger screens and potentially becoming a larger and larger body size as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.